I am just a few minutes late. Well, 2 minutes late. I'm trying to get this adjusted the proper level, whatever it should be. Let's try that. It's Monday. Happy Monday. Off to a... Hey, Corey. Corey says first. Hope everyone's week is off to a good start. I am coming off, as I mentioned yesterday, hanging out with our good friend, our dear friend, Goga, for, man, it was over 3 hours. And we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about yoga, of course, and breathwork and meditation, honestly. And this was one of my favorite things to talk about. Corey says I got this notification. Awesome. It's all yoga. And we talked a lot about that, which was good. So just give me a second, guys. Taking care of a few little things. Corey says, who's that? I've never seen him. He comes in here pretty often. He is a friend of ours. He's from Kenya. He's a yogi as well. Do you know what yoga is? Or are you just a big fan of it because you don't know what it is and you think you know what it is? What would you think that yoga is? What is it that you think yoga is that makes you not a big fan? And I bet we could clear that up pretty quickly. Give me a few seconds here, guys. And it's weird. If you're not a big fan of yoga and yet you hang out with someone who's very title in the title of the live stream is just a yogi. I'm going to bring up my desktop so I can see your comments better. There we go. Corey says, yes, I do. It's like relaxing and calming you down and stretching, but I don't like it because of that. I like the part it's stretching. It hurts my body. Well, that's not what yoga really is. Yoga is a spiritual path of self-realization that has many different schools and many different practices. That there's 4 main types of yoga, stemming from the description offered to Arjuna from Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. You have karma yoga, which is the yoga of selfless service, of helping other people without expectations of receiving anything for yourself. And then there is Bhakti yoga, which is the yoga of devoting yourself entirely to God, being directed by God, allowing God to call the shots. And then there is Jnana yoga, which is the yoga of self-exploration, where you're trying to know who you truly are, not your thoughts, not your concepts, not your beliefs, but who you truly, truly are, the awareness that is aware of all of that. And then there's Raja Yoga, which means royal yoga, and that is 8 limbs. And it starts with ethical principles, leading a good life, a good example, just being a nice and kind person. And then it has principle observances, personal observances, cleanliness, self-study, surrender to God. And then pranayama, which is working with the breath, which I teach and talk about a lot. And then there is the asanas. That's what you're thinking of, the stretching, calming down. Um, and it shouldn't hurt your body. It should make your body feel better when you're doing it. And that is followed by withdrawal of the senses, where we're not always focusing on the outer world, but we turn our attention inside. What's going on inside? What am I thinking? How often do I think it? And can I turn my attention to the silence, the stillness that resides within? And then we have 3 stages of meditation, starting with concentration, absorption, and samadhi, which is bliss consciousness, Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Chorus says, oh, whoever the 3 of you, feel free to come in. They might. Maybe I scared them away with my yoga talk. However, as I mentioned to you, if you go into just the yoga, you're expected to at least hear the word yoga once, maybe twice, maybe more. I used to, when I first started doing live streams, it was nothing but yoga. And it's still, as I mentioned to Goga, that everything is yoga. Yoga, the word yoga means yoke. That's where we get the word yoke, not yoke. Hey, Heavenly Star, how are you, my friend? Heavenly says, Yogi Bear. Heavenly Star, how are you? It's nice to see you. Leaving a comment on our friend's link. Our friend Reverend Terminator. Are you guys friends with Reverend Terminator? He was one of the first people that reached out to me when I was doing my burpee videos. Emily says, I'm okay. Well, I'm glad to hear okay. Did you have a good weekend? And how about you, Corey? Did you have a good weekend? There we go. I thought our friend Love Our Toy Pops was going to be live streaming, but she isn't. Corey says, Star, I meant my bad. Corey says, hello, my friend Heavenly Bear. Heavenly Bear. I like Heavenly Bear. Hey, Easy. How are you? So, when people ask me questions about diet, as they often do, especially people, they hear, well, I'm a vegan, how can I eat better? Or how can I lose weight? Or how can I be healthier? And I always start with, don't take anything out of your diet. Don't make any big changes where you try to, hey, Miss Flipper, where you try to cut out the things that you enjoy eating. If you eat a lot of junk food, if you drink a lot of soda, if you eat a lot of fried foods, don't cut it out. Not yet. Introduce good things first and let the bad stuff fall away completely on its own. And it will. Because the more good stuff you eat, 1, the less room you have for bad stuff, and 2, your taste starts to change and your body starts to change and you start wanting less of that stuff that you used to crave. So you drink more water and you eat more good stuff. So it's always better to add things in and allow life to change completely on its own. Cora says, hello, Miss Flipper. It's the same with life. Easy says, would you consider eating man-eaters ethical since they eat us, such as alligators and sharks? For me, I always go by, I don't have set ethics for everyone. My ethics aren't the ethics for anyone else. But a shark and an alligator are meat eaters, specifically created in nature to do so, eating specific things. Um, Me, I'm an omnivore. I get a choice. I don't need to eat meat. So, how could I hold myself to the same standards as a shark, which was created solely for the purpose of eating meat, or an alligator, when I was created to have options? Hey, theme park, how are you? Theme park's birthday is getting closer and closer and closer. How many days? We're like a week away, right? I'm gonna get a scan done on my lungs. Did you I've thought about that myself. I smoked way, way back in the day. It's probably good. Probably a good idea. You're not having any issues, are you, my friend? Theme says, Eric. Um, so I wasn't going to talk about diet, but I wanted to use that sort of as a metaphor, or maybe it's an allegory. Um, if you want to make changes in your life, you can go about trying to change all these effects, all your behaviors. But unless you address the cause of those behaviors, you're just going to keep making them, or they're going to resurface in another way. Suppose you quit drinking and you take up smoking, or you quit smoking and you take up drinking, or you quit both and you have a severe coffee addiction, or whatever. I know so many non-ex-alcoholics who become amazing endurance athletes because now they've channeled all the addictive energy they had into the addictive energy of running ultra marathons or whatever. So one's better than the other, but an addiction is still an addiction across the board. Um, let's see. Heavenly says, both lungs are weakening on me, and lung cancer runs in my family, so the doctor wants to make sure I don't have cancer. Gotcha. Um, how soon are you getting it done? Theme says 7 days, a week from tomorrow. Awesome. For those who don't know, theme park is going to celebrate his birthday in Disneyland. Easy says that makes sense. This question popped in my mind because eating cows and chicken seems more wrong than eating man-eaters because they are such peaceful animals. Just a random thought I had. I love random thoughts. Random thoughts have shaped the world, you know? Imagine gravity, right? Of course, gravity always existed, but let's go with the legend. I don't know if this actually took place. I don't think it really did. Not the way we hear it. But watching a apple fall while he was in a garden, a random thought popped in his head. Sir Isaac Newton. What made that fall? What pulled that to the ground? Why doesn't it go back up? Whatever that random thought was. Einstein was on a train and had a random thought about imagining himself as a light beam racing that train, which helped lead him towards the theory of relativity. Random thoughts are absolutely awesome. Every book I've written, every insight I've ever had, all started with a random thought. Hey, Timo. Heavenly Star says we'll be getting it done today at 8 p.m. Well, we're going to send some prayers along with you, my friend. And lots of love. When you're able to, keep us posted. Austin saying hi to everyone. How are you doing, Austin? How was your weekend? So, taking that same principle with the diet. Imagine if you didn't try to change your life in any drastic way, even though you feel you needed to. Saying that you needed to change your diet, you need to drop an addiction, you need to be less stressed, You need to be less anxiety, more inspired. You wanted to eventually get a better job. Your relationships weren't working for whatever reason. You could address every single one of those. It would drive you crazy. And if you put all your energy in one thing, the other things might fall apart. So you can do the same thing as with the diet. Don't make any changes right off the bat. Add something in. So don't eliminate anything. You're never going to eliminate stress by concentrating on stress. You're never going to eliminate anxiety by concentrating on anxiety. You just get more anxious. But how about if you added one thing in? Meditation. Just that. And watch what happens. Watch how everything in your life changes on its own. You suddenly become more understanding, more patient. You're kinder. And it just keeps deepening. It keeps evolving. For decade after decade after decade, it is still evolving for me the same way it was before. I never know how it's going to end. It just, every day is an amazing thing. It leads to cultivating the practice of gratefulness. Hey Sabine, how are you? Sabine saying hi to everyone. Timo and Sabine, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me over at Goga's. It was extremely helpful. I didn't look at the chat too often, as I wanted to, concentrate on what Goga was asking. But on the times when I did, I could see my friends, and that just gave me so much confidence. It just put me at ease so much. Sabine says, I'm fine. How are you? I'm doing good, Sabine. Hey, Slayful, how are you? Slayful says hi. Miss Flipper says hello, Sabine. So when I started meditating, my diet changed completely on its own. I found myself drawn towards eating healthier things. Never a big vegetable eater. I felt naturally drawn. Started eating more vegetables. I actually started juicing. Smoking, which I smoked in the 80s, fell out of my life effortlessly. People came into my life, people left my life. Those who came into my life were the exact people I needed to meet. Those who left my life, even if I was upset about it at the time, I later realized was the perfect thing to happen for them and for me. Lastly, it took a little while longer. Alcohol left my life completely without me making an effort to quit drinking. I just stopped drinking. Now, there was some circumstances involved I've talked about before, and I can talk about it again, but only if you ask me to. Optimop says, Eric, my friend, I know that is a bit funny with StreamYard. You did well. Thank you. And you're absolutely right. I was nervous about StreamYard. When Gogo suggested that I could do it on my end so that people could watch on my channel so I could get watch hours, and I thought, man, I gotta keep it as uncomplicated as possible. So we just did it from his end. Slayful says, how was your weekend? My weekend was good. It was really good. Easy says, oh man, I missed the Goga sermon. It is on. You can watch the replay. It was a lot of fun. We talked inspiration, and we talked all kinds of yoga stuff, meditation, self-inquiry. I mentioned the Course in Miracles quite a few times. We talked a lot about breathwork. I did a breathwork session. Short little stuff for people. We talked about my books. It was fun. And yep, you can watch it. You can watch it at Goga's. I put the link up on my community page so people could find it. I keep thinking I might get StreamYard. So he says, I did like the breath work. Good. I'm glad. Um, I love breathwork, and as a matter of fact, quite a few people from Goga's community have reached out to me, and I've already connected. Said, hey, I will do anytime you pop into a live stream. If you ask me, help me with some breath work, we'll do it immediately. I will drop whatever other conversation we're in, unless it's of a really personal and meaningful thing for someone, and we'll cover some breath work. Heavenly says, I'm kind of nervous about the scan being done. I bet you are. Um, and we're going to send prayers. Guys, our friend Heavenly Star is getting a lung scan at 8 p.m. tonight. Heavenly Star, you're in the Eastern time zone or Central? I don't think you're Western, but I could be wrong. Um, so, guys, if you could just send some love, some prayers, some positive energy to our friend Heavenly Star. It'll be good to know, because then you and your medical advisors will lead the way from there. Speen says, love I meant. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Speen says, it was very good, and I did the breath work yesterday evening in bed, and slept really well and fast. That's awesome to hear. Sleep hygiene. So many of us have so many issues with sleep, and the breath can ease that incredibly. I've been doing breath work forever, but here's what I found out. I was mistiming a lot of my breath work because I didn't have a full understanding of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So I was doing some invigorating breaths later in the day, which only increases cortisol, adrenaline, and epinephrine, which are the wake up and go hormones. I wanted to be doing the opposite. So it was all about timing. So when I went to become a certified breath coach, I learned all that. And then I just kept doing classes to keep firming that up. Most yoga books don't really tell you when to do the pranayama. They say do pranayama, do it before yoga. But what if you do yoga in the evening when you get home from work? You want to switch the way you're breathing. Heavenly Star says, thank you, Yogi Bear. Absolutely, my friend. We are sending you love. Sabine says, our thoughts and prayers are with you, Heavenly Star. Heavenly Star says, thank you, Timo and Sabine. Timo is waving and sending you love. So, breathwork is another thing. You add that in, and it's like adding in a piece of the puzzle. Everything's starting to make sense. Your immune system improves almost immediately. You have more energy, a different kind of energy though. Not that like jittery caffeine energy, but more of an overall sense of well-being. I can do the things I need to do today. If you suffer from anxiety, you now have a tool to lessen your anxiety, as well as to navigate out of a panic attack. If you have sleep issues, and sooner or later, almost all of us are going to have some kind of sleep issues, sad to say, adding in breath work, especially at the right time, will help with that. As well, if you meditate, if you add in breath work right before you meditate, it's like supercharging your meditation. 2 things you can add in, or even just one of those, and your entire life will change. So again, adding in meditation, my diet changed, my hobbies changed, how I worked out changed drastically. I was no longer so concerned with how much I could bench press or how I looked, but it was how healthy I could be. Still wanting to look good, still wanting to be strong, but that wasn't the objective. I went up to 220 pounds just so I could bench over 300 pounds. that didn't work out too well. I got that lift. It just wasn't good for me physically. Let's see. Our friend, I wish I could pronounce your name 100% correctly. Um, Hadigital, Jallo, I get right. So that's why I was calling you Jallo the other day. I hope you don't mind, and if you do, just let me know. Can I get a shout out, please? An absolute shout out for our friend Jallo. I appreciate you coming back. Guys, are you connected with Jallo? And if not, let's do so. Hey, Polio. Polio says, hello, my friend. Hello to you. It's good to see you. Speaking of connecting with people, if you want to connect with someone who has impeccable taste in music, Polio's your guy. Him and I and Sabine. Who else was here? I think Poor Man's Jim was here. Had a great talk where we found out the secret not everyone knows about Sabine. She was a punk rocker. She was a drummer in a punk rock band. She had a Mohican hairstyle. Sabine says, yep. That was great to find out. That was a fun conversation. Traveling Food says, hi, Eric. Hello, my friend. How are you? I thought I was subscribed to you, but I was not. I am now, though. I appreciate you joining in. Sabine says, it was styled and colored like a burning flame on my head. Wow, that I didn't know. So now even more secrets come out. I tried the Mohawk. It did not work for me at all. Plus, you know what? I was too much of a hippie. I was too much in the Grateful Dead. I loved punk rock, but I wasn't a punk rocker. At heart, I was a hippie. Travel and Food says, doing good. I'm glad to hear that. Pauline says, hello, Sabine and Timo. Travel says, thank you so much. You're welcome, my friend. Hey, Axel. Axel says, bro, what's up? Not much. Nice to see you. Sabine says, a little band had the name Thunder Girls. How were you? Were you guys a good band? Timo's waving. Axel says, do you remember me? I do not offhand, Axel. Give me a hint. Give me a reminder. I know I am subscribed to you. It wasn't that long ago. Travel says, guys, like the live stream? Thank you, Travel. So, I was at the last stream. I knew it wasn't that long ago. What did we talk about? Speed says, we just played in our youth meeting lounge. That was all, but it was fun. Hey, but you were in a band. And you were a punk rocker. That's what counts. I'm waiting to see photos of Sabine on her community page from her punk rock days. If you go to my community page, you scroll down a bit, you will see me and my long-haired hippie stage. Eric Point says, listening and stacking wood. Hello, Yogi in chat. Hey, Eric Point. Eric Point is stacking wood, and then later today, He's going to do burpees. Stack of wood in and of itself is a workout. Combining those two, that's pretty pretty tough. I never minded stacking wood. I never minded chopping wood. Here's what I did not like. I spent a summer, well, I spent part of a summer, the late summer, making hay um, with several of my cousins. I went up to northern Pennsylvania where they lived. I was actually living there for about 9 months, and I loved it because I was running wild all through the woods, all through the mountains. That was my family homeland. My family has lived there since the early 1700s. But then in the late summer, we started making hay on other people's farms. We were sort of hired out. We got paid in Kool-Aid. I didn't make any money at all. Um, but, these were farmers who needed help. And my cousin said, the cousin that I lived with, well, we got some young kids. They'll come by and they'll make hay. What a hot, sticky, sweaty, brutally hard job that is. So he says, oh, and once after church, and this church is really fast, after we played our second sound, Paulia says, Sabine, Rebel Yell, that will do it. I told that Eric Lapointe quoted me on this. I had the same thing happen in my live streams. I've had like 80 people swoop in, and I get all excited, and I start talking, and then I have like 3 left in less than 5 minutes. So Sabine and I certainly know how to empty a room. Eric Point says, yes, hay isn't fun. Now it sticks all over your body, and you're, like I said, it's itchy. Sabine says, slow travel. Polios, Billy Idol, great stuff. I do like Billy Idol. All the way back to Generation X. Travel says, Polio, see you, and he's waving. Sabine's laughing, says that was exactly what happened to us at that Saturday morning service. That could be a bit demoralizing, can it? I always think, was it something that I said? And Sabina was probably thinking, was it something that I sang? Something that we sang? Paula is waving at travel. My cat's saying hi to you guys. So, if anyone wants to rewatch me and our good friend Goga, it's up on my community page, it's up on his community page. It's long, over 3 hours. He actually said that it was one of the longer Sunday services that he's done. Which leads me to the point, if I ever do a live stream with any of you guys, feel free to tell me to be quiet. Feel free to give a short answer. Not everything has to be as involved as I make it out to be. I realize that. It doesn't stop me, but I realize that. Travel says, thanks to Polio. Eric Point says, hey to Star. Polio says, someone watching me, and he's laughing. We got our eyes on you, Polio. Polio, by the way, as mentioned before, has a very eclectic taste in music. Family Star says, Haystack is worse. Yeah, I bet. I bet it is. You know what? I was working. All of my cousins on my dad's side were old, all my immediate cousins. my first cousin. So my dad's side, and there was a lot of them, were older than me. My dad's oldest brother was 27 years older than him. And so I lived with a cousin. She had a veal farm. And for me to live there, I worked in the veal farm. And I'd rather make hay. I'd rather do anything. I still actually have dreams working on that veal farm. Probably well, not probably, about it. Planted the seed for me to eventually become a vegan. Travel and Food says, watched you on Goga. It was amazing. Thank you so much. I was nervous, but Goga is such a professional, as I mentioned right at the beginning. He just made it so easy. Asking just the right things where I get out of my head and talk about the things that I love. Sabine says, Eric, you did a great job yesterday. Thank you so much, Sabine. I appreciate you saying that. And as I mentioned before, I really appreciate you guys being there. You know what? Right off the bat, the very beginning, Timo Optimov did a super chat for Goga, and I saw that pop up before I even knew they were there. I saw them pop up, and I thought, my friends are here. My friends are here doing what my friends do, spreading love. It's going to be a great chat. And Goga had Tandra's song playing, which immediately had me smiling. Paulius is very wide-ranging for sure. You told me your parents played music. Am I correct? Hey, Ginger. Ginger says, what's up, all you guys? Not much, Ginger. How you doing? Our friend going Life is here. Hey, Life. Nice to see you, my friend. Traveling Food says, Ginger, hello. Life says, like done. I appreciate that. And how are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Thank you for asking. How about you? Polio says, tickled, I like too. I appreciate that. Heavenly Star says, Yogi Bear, it's okay because us here love you. Thank you, Heavenly. I appreciate you saying that. Life is good. Amazing to be part of a community where we can actually express that to each other. Simple, I love you. I'll be thinking about you. I know there's something that you're nervous about, and I'm there for you. Hey, Squirrel Sniper. Squirrel Sniper was there. It was great to see him. Greetings, beautiful souls from across the pond, under the same skies. So, Life says he's good. Eric Point says, I really missed it. Missed it live, but what can you do? Yeah, nothing. You were, Eric, you missed it, but you were an essential part of it. You were mentioned several times. Deeply appreciative, and who knows how my channel would have turned out without your support from the very beginning. From the very beginning of when you came in. Man, think about that, Eric. Think about that initial conversation when you came in and how different things are for both of us. They have a monetized channel with a theme that I try to work on. I have an express, I don't want to say goal, inspiration of helping as many people as I'm able. And man, Eric Lapointe has become a YouTube legend. He's the tractor guy. He's a Christmas tree farmer. He's got his own burpee, for heaven's sake. I've been doing burpees every single day for over 1,000 days in a row now. I don't have my own burpee. It never even occurred to me. I was never so inspired to have my own burpee. Eric Lapointe, day one, day one, his first live stream. Hey guys, I have my own burpee. Life says, Eric, sir, your videos are so peaceful. Thank you. I appreciate you commenting on my nature videos. Paula is waving at squirrel. Very much appreciate that, Life. Traveling Food says, thank you for the jacket, Yogi. Absolutely. Just figured it'd be helpful for you to connect with people and for people to connect with you. Polio says, love, very powerful. It is, absolutely. No coincidence that love and music are intimately connected. The healing power of sound. I bet you there's no one here who hasn't been eased through a particularly difficult time in their life by a song. And if you want to share with that song, feel free. If you don't, if it's too personal, that's cool. Eric Point says, it has been a crazy adventure with you, Yogi. Good times. Definitely good times. If Eric Lapointe and I hadn't met, he would not have been doing drunken burpees. He might have still been drunk, but he would be in a field drinking beer going, I wonder what I should do. And I have no one to do it with. Just sitting there, his head down, like Linus in the pumpkin patch in the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. But instead of that, he was in a field drinking beer with the burpee, the legendary Burpee Reaper, a world away, a country away. Cypher says, so many beautiful names. Absolutely. Life says, yes, you live in a beautiful place. I'm very fortunate where I live. That it's a suburban town, but it's so open. So much wildlife. Right outside my front door. I can do less than a quarter-mile walk just in my neighborhood block and see hawk, maybe see an eagle, see countless squirrels, rabbits, deer, owls, foxes, occasional coyote. Last year we had a bear wander through the neighborhood. Life says hi to Heavenly. And how are you, friend? Travel and Food is waving at Life. He says hi back. Eric Lapointe is laughing. However, here's what I got to wonder with Eric Lapointe. Had you known in that very first conversation when you came by that in less than 6 months, you would be doing 1,000 burpees in a row, would you still have stayed in the conversation? Or would you have taken off and like, man, who wants to do 1,000 burpees? That's crazy. Sabine says, hello to Go On Life. Life says, Eric, sir, I wish to live the space near to nature. I can understand that. You know, I grew up here. I moved 4 years old. My family moved from Pennsylvania down here to this town, and it was brand new. They had just built it. And they built it with the express purpose of having it be a new type of city. Open space, no telephone poles. It wanted to be a beautiful landscape. It was based on villages. Each village had a village center where you could do your shopping and you could walk to it, as it has hundreds of miles of bike paths, all going through woods or going through fields. It was surrounded by farmland, so you were in a planned city that was surrounded by farm. Unfortunately, that farmland is mostly gone. Now it's suburbs, shopping centers. It's a shame. But the city itself is still this little green oasis. Savit says, Eric LP, I guess I did not say hello to you. Life says, fed up, hustle, bustle, life of cities. I don't blame you at all. But you know what? Nature's everywhere. Even in the city, nature is in the city. You just need to look for it. If you have a single cloud in the sky, if you have a blade of grass, if you have one tree, if you have an insect, you have nature. So let even the smallest aspect of nature inspire you. And then keep your thoughts on where you would like to live. Heavenly Star says, Yogi Bear, thank you for your prayers for tonight. Absolutely. 100%. And we will put them out again in this evening when I do my third live stream. Life says, happy or blessed with beautiful place. Through no effort of my own, it was gifted me. You know, like I said, moving here, this is the house I grew up in. I inherited from my father. Eric Point says, I would never have guessed any of this. It's a hard thing to guess. You know, I'm going to do 1,000 burpees. Where did that even come from? You know what I mean? That when you come into a live stream just by chance, completely random. And we were talking about random, way up above, and how everything beautiful, everything meaningful, everything of value has come from a random thought. Just a random thought. Eric Floyd had a random thought that, well, this old bald guy looks kind of lonely. Let me go on in and give a comforting word and be on my way. He's probably tired. His show's probably on. Matlock is probably on. He's going to drink some tea and watch Matlock. So he took a moment, random, and ended up doing 1,000 reps. Eric Point says, hey Sabine, no big deal. Hey Runner Boy says, yo, good workout today. I was keeping my eye open to see if you were using any wraps for anything. Hey Debs. Deb says, life definitely requires breathwork these days. Nice name of the stream. Anytime, any live stream, I'm going to stop whatever we're doing, unless it's like a super deep where everyone's helping each other or helping a specific person, and do a breath practice for anyone at any time. Just let me know. If you want to learn something new for something specific, or a rehash of something that we've talked about before, if there's a particular issue, having trouble sleeping, having trouble waking up, need to even out anxiety during the day, let me know. Deb says, yoga class number 3 tonight. Number 3 already. That's awesome. Number 3, that means you're liking it. Yoga's a game changer. Remember the entirety of yoga. I know you're doing the asanas. The practice of yoga is the practice of life. It's the practice of self-realization, realizing who you truly are. Your connection, yoke, union with God. Yoga is the path to God, the direct path to God, because you don't need a church, you don't need a clergy, you don't need someone saying, this is how you get to God, only through me. It opens up the door that you become your own church. Heavenly Star is laughing. Speen says, Eric Point, then I say hello to you now. Life says, my channel is about plants. I like nature, but limited around me. You know what? Life, that makes it even better. In a way. It makes it even better for your channel. Because now you can show people what's available. That even with, I wanted to make sure, I'm looking at your page because I wanted to make sure that I'm getting all the, I'm subscribed to everything. I don't want to miss anything. Now you can show people that even where you are, even in a city, you can connect with plants. It's really a wonderful opportunity. I know it's not your preference, but you can be where you are and offer the best to everyone. Hey, poor man. Poor man is in the process of making himself a kettlebell. Eric Point says hi to everyone to make it easier. Paulia says hi to Eric. Sabine's laughing. One boy says on Wednesday I'll be doing 100 pull-ups live. One pull-up at a time. It's going to be an interesting approach. One of is going to be doing singles. Do a pull-up, pace, talk, do another pull-up until he gets 100 done. Poor man says, good afternoon, Yogi. Afternoon, poor man. Life says, you're lucky that in all your lives, people are so nice, civilized, and beautiful people. I am pretty lucky. Every so often, you know, we get people who want to stir the pot a bit, which is okay. Who knows why people do what they do? Maybe they're bored. They need something. If you say you're going to be there for everyone, that means you don't get a choice in who shows up. Polio says the best way. Gives a big thumbs up. Ginger says, and a 6-pack of barley pop. I've never had barley pop. Oh, beer. I get it. Why did that take me so long to click? Ginger says, watching Matlock and MacGyver. That's right, man. Watching my shows. Watching my stories. Poor man's waving. Probably sounds like me. The MacGyver. Sniper says, it's great to hear that. Go on life. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I missed that above. Sniper, go on life. Have you tried electroculture? Interesting. Life says he has. Nice. You guys will have to fill me in on that. Deb says, it's slow stretch in small class of 6 to 8. Perfect. Ginger says, poor man. Speen says, hello to poor man. Poor man says, hey, runner, Jesse Pollack had some killer pull-up routines. Did a deck with cards the other night. So what was it? Each suit had a different style. So pull up, chin up, maybe commando, mixed grip. Life says, thanks, Eric. Sir, you all right? I will use a plant analogy. Bloom where you're planted. We don't always get to decide where we're planted. However, you can bloom wherever you are planted. There's someone in the same position you are, life, who hasn't had that realization that they can do what you're doing, and you're going to inspire them to start. You're going to inspire someone who's stuck in their own city to connect with nature in whatever way they can. A huge inspiration. Deb says, I started to grow succulents and cacti using near UV and red light to grow under them in winter. Nice. I love cacti. Such a low maintenance plant, and they're just something about the hardiness of a cactus. Sabine says, oh, I have to leave now. Take care, everyone. Bless you all. Bless you, Sabine. Thanks for hanging out. Life says, thanks, dear New York. Nightmare says, fear not, I have returned. I was just beginning to experience a level of despair. Wasn't a full-blown panic. It wasn't, where I was going to grab Eric LaPointe and say, we got to send out a search party. But that low-level despair, panic wasn't far off. Fortunately, our friend Nightmare is here. So now we can get down to business. We can talk about the real important stuff. Deb says, plants rock. And so I have marigolds blooming outside. Hard for us soon to come, though. So are marigolds considered to be a perennial? They will come back? That is a perennial, right? Hey, theme park. You are back, my friend. He says, how's everyone? Tandra is here. Our friend Tandra always makes me smile, just coming in. So I mentioned being put at ease in yesterday's conversation. Coming into the live stream and hearing my theme song played put me immediately at ease. I defy anyone to be anxious when you are listening to a beautiful song put together by our friend Tandra. I was a little worried, though, that there would be a rush of people going over to Tandra and saying, hey, can you make me a theme song? Life says, I will watch your video. Paula is waving at Tandra. Foreman says, it's brutal. Started with wider grip, about 200. He switched to close grip, about 400 pull-ups altogether. Wow. Yeah. Man, anytime you add volume into pull-ups, it's going to suck. Even if you're doing what, Runner Boy, it sounds easy. You're just doing one pull-up. You're doing that 100 times. That's going to end up being brutal. That amount of volume. Sniper says, electroculture is a gardening technique that uses electricity to help plants grow. Some gardeners use copper wire antennas wrapped around wooden dowels. Interesting. That sounds like it has Squirrel Sniper all over it. Just something about the copper and the wooden dowels. Junior says, you got to watch some Westerns and A Little Smokey and the Bandit. Yes to both of those. A big yes to both of those. I love Westerns. And man, who doesn't love a Burt Reynolds movie? I'm not saying every single Burt Reynolds movie was great, but I'd be hard-pressed to find one. And here's one you guys might not have thought for a long time. Sharky's Machine. There might not be a darker, sweatier, more intense movie ever made than Sharky's Machine. All I can say, prove me wrong. If you can find one. Now, there might be a sweatier movie. This was a big discussion on the TV show Cheers, the sweatiest movie ever made. You know what it came down to? Cool Hand Luke. Poor man says, can't stress enough how awesome Jesse's channel is. His lives are hardcore. I bet. But hey, when it comes to hardcore, I don't think he takes second place to anyone, poor man. Theme says, I have a girlfriend now. Her name is Sarah. Hey, that's awesome. How long have you guys been dating? And congratulations to you both. I don't know Sarah, obviously, but here's what I can say. She could not have found a nicer guy. She could not have found a more awesome guy. Polo says, Ginger, Clint Eastwood, the outlaw Jesse Wells. That might be my favorite Clint Eastwood, the outlaw Jesse Wells, followed by The Unforgiven. But you know what? For sheer just having fun, any which way but loose. I mean, come on. Who doesn't wish they had an orangutan sidekick that would punch bikers in the head as you drove by? Nightmare says, I did see the panic on your face, Eric. No need to call LP. I am here. It's good, because Eric LP is stacking wood right now, and I would hate to take him from an all-important job to help me search out Nightmare. So you did us both a favor, coming in when you did. Life says, agree, Eric, sir. So go on, Life. I need to spend more time on your channel, and I will. Deb says, I'm learning about copper or orgonite. Am I saying that right? Also learned that we are short on copper in our bodies, a mineral we need. I didn't realize that we were short on copper. I do know that we need it. Life says, New York, subscribe to your channel. Awesome. Sampa says, the Royal Gardens had copper-plated digging spades. It supposedly cuts through the soil and adds a positivity charge. That makes sense because, you know, they sell copper shorts and armbands and knee wraps. I actually thought about getting copper shirt to help my back and shoulder. Let's see. Abdullah says, remember me from the other stream. I do remember you, my friend. Welcome back. I appreciate you coming back. This is third or fourth time you've been back, I believe. Life says, last night I saw 2 movies. Rapala? I haven't heard of that. Was it good? And Flight 194. I haven't heard of that either. Polio's laughing. Ginger says, cheers. Wow. An all-time classic sitcom. There's certain shows and movies that you can turn on anywhere, like any point during the show or any point during the movie, and watch it from that point on and feel like you didn't miss anything. One of those for me, Groundhog Day, Kingpin. I stand by my statement. The greatest Amish bowling movie ever made is Kingpin. And I make that distinction because it's not the greatest bowling movie ever made. It's the greatest Amish bowling movie. If you want to know the greatest bowling movie, let me know. Deb says copper is so versatile. Copper jewelry is used for pain too. It is. I had a copper wristband a long time ago. Paulo says Sarah Connor. Terminator. Boy, did she come out badass in the second one. Doing prison pull-ups. He says, thank you, over a week now. Awesome. Is she going to come with you? Is she going to come with you to Disneyland by any chance? School Cipher says 8th grade year. Abdullah High. Eric Point says, poor man, Jesse is good people. Theme says, poor man's Jim, hello. And they start says, how's Bessie Tandra? Abdullah High says, remember the owl in your roof? That one, not quite. Poor man says it could have made a killing in 2019 when copper crashed. I bought at bottom and sold way too high. Man, it's so hard though. It's so hard to know what to do. Some people have that knack. Go on Life says, sorry, Eric. You didn't understand what movies you say. That's okay. Ginger says, Kingpin, Woody, he always makes me laugh with his awkward style. Man, what a great actor. He could be so funny and also play really, really intense roles at the same time. So can anyone guess what the #1 all-time best bowling movie is? Tanya says hi to Themes Park. Jacob is dropping links. Thanks, Jacob. Poor man says, Jacob, bro. Theme says, unfortunately, she can't, but I'm going to buy her a pin. She has plans with the family that week. Gotcha. Well, maybe next year. Beverly Star says, my best friend, Hothead. Poor man says, Big Lebowski, and he nailed it right off the bat. The Big Lebowski is the best bowling movie ever made. Maybe one of the best movies ever made. Did you guys know? I did this a long time ago. I am actually a certified reverend in the Church of the Tao of the Dude. Don't know if I can still find my registration. And it's an actual thing. I can perform ceremonies. But only if you want to get married with a Big Lebowski theme. Tom just says, Heavenly Star, all good here. Thanks, and how are you? Nightmare is waving at Jacob. Paulio says, Uber driver could not find me. Back now. All right, everyone's saying hi. Abdullah says, Hawk, what's your favorite Halloween movie? Yep, now I remember. Isn't it Nightmare Before Christmas? AKA the Pumpkin King. That is a good movie. Now you got me thinking more Halloween movies. You know, we talk about scary movies. I don't find slasher movies all that scary. Maybe I'm a little cocky. I see Jason. I see Freddy. What's the other guy? even the guy in the mask, and I think I could take him. I could take him. But you put the Exorcist on, and it's like, nope, no way, I'm out of here. Those are scary movies. Polio says, Pale Horse Rider. That was a good movie. That was on just the other day. Eric Point says, did you know Woody's dad in real life was a hitman? True story. I knew his dad was in prison for something. I don't remember that. That's what it was. Interesting. Ginger says, getting married by a yogi, that would be meant. Especially with me talking about the dude, that you are united under the love of the dude himself. May you both abide forever peacefully so. Hey Mir, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you. Abdullah says, good choice. So what was it for you again? Mir says, hey to DH bro. Mir says he's good. Jacob's dropping more links. That's what Jacob does. Polly says, nothing like a nice bit of hickory after he just beat up. You know, one of the guys that he beat up, Richard Kiel, who played Jaws in the James Bond movie. Remember, with the teeth? And he was also the outlaw. He was in the Hole in the Wall game, Hole in the Wall gang. Butch Cassidy and a Sundance Kid, who challenged Butch Cassidy, Paul Newman, for the leadership. And the classic scene when he said, what's it going to be? Knives or guns? And they pick on knives. And Paul Newman says, well, not yet. We got to discuss rules. And Richard Kiel says, rules? There's no rules in a knife fight. And then Paul Newman says, good to know, and kicks him in the nuts right off the bat. End of the fight. Let's see. Do you like Halloween or Samar? Not a big fan of the slasher stuff. I'd rather be like really scared. If it's a slasher, you know, man, I got a 50-50 chance of either getting away or winning in a fight. I mean, I'm not a badass or anything, but I'm in good shape. I've studied martial arts. If you come at me, I'm at least going to put up a fight, right? But how can you put up a fight against a poltergeist or, you know, a demon or a ghost? That's the scary stuff. Toy Pops, I was hoping you'd come by today. How are you? Toy Pups says, sending lots of love. Toy Pups was another... I didn't get a chance to see every single person who popped in yesterday during the live stream with Goga, but I did catch certain names, and it made me smile when I did. Toy Pops was one of the names. And I mentioned your channel quite a few times. Junior says, Yogi is the dude master, the best dude, and the dude abides. I'd love to, I got to find my certification. I would love to marry someone. I actually thought about doing a more traditional route to being a minister so I could perform ceremonies. But you know what keeps me from doing ceremonies? I mispronounce everyone's name, even if I know you. I misappoint Eric Lapointe's name, his first name. Polio says the crown jewels. Yep, right in the crown jewels. I should have thought of that. Mir says, hey to Ginger. Heavenly Star says, sorry, on meds to help me relax. Hey, Heavenly Star, I hope we can help you relax a bit too. I hope just hanging out with us can make you smile, and that helps you relax a bit. Mir says, Stars say, bless my friend. Toy Pup says, where'd it go? Yogi did a great job the other night in the co-stream. Uh, WOTB, Goga. What's WOTB? What a great channel. Thank you so much for inviting us. I knew you would love Goga's channel. And that's why I specifically wanted to give you a couple of shout outs, because I'm hoping that people are going to come by. I talked what a great live streamer, what a great example of a live streamer that you are. So thank you, Toy Pups. It says that you're sick. I'm sorry, I thought something was up because you had a live stream set and you weren't able to make it. Jacob says, hey brother, Mr. Yogi in chat. How's your weekend, Jacob? We don't get a chance to talk with you that much. Ginger says, Yogi is a Ninja Turtle too. Let's see, I started out very briefly Shotokan Karate, Taekwondo for quite a bit of time, Kempo Karate for quite a bit of time, little bit of Thai boxing, Judo for quite a bit of time, quite a bit, like 3 years. The Judo was really the last thing. A little sprinkling of other stuff. I studied Wing Chun very briefly. Combat Tai Chi, which was a lot of fun. Mir says, best wishes and prayers for your good health, sir. Star, sorry. Joining in with Mir for that prayer. Heavenly Star says, Zafin says, finally talking Jacob. Exactly. I hope you feel better soon. I miss your live streams. Toy Pup says, we're great, just sick, no energy, but we're here. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. Foreman says, anyone know about copyright? Did a few lives yesterday, not sure if they're visible, got copyright. How can you, you don't do music. What could they copyright for you? Eric Point says, Freddy kills you in your dream, Yogi. Have you ever tried to fight in a dream? I have not. However, I have studied Tibetan dream yoga, which I think, if not makes me dream efficient, makes me dream defensive. So I might not be able to go after someone, but I think I could defend myself in my dreams. So I'm going to stick by my statement. Freddy, I got a 50-50 chance of either escaping Freddy through my practice of Tibetan dream yoga, or I could take him. I know that sounds overly confident. I know you guys are thinking, look at Yogi, thinking he's all highfalutin. He could take Freddy. How ridiculous. I think I could take him. Polio says, who flung dung? Where? Okay, where is that from? Which movie is that from? Who flung dung? Mira says, hey, LP brother. Heavenly Star is laughing with brother LP. Eric says, I never want to fight in my dreams. I think I could at least defend myself. I could certainly escape in my dreams. Nightmare says, so I started burpees today. It'll be a long time before I'm up to LP standard though. Hey, Nightmare, what makes you think so? You know, have you heard Eric LaPointe's entire burpee story? He's only been doing burpees. Eric, I know your first live stream was in June, but how long had you been practicing before? So we're talking a matter of months. So what a perfect example. Eric LP would be the first person, Nightmare, to say, you could get there. Absolutely, you could get there. Ginger says, you are a violent yogi. You're almost a monk. More of a defensive yogi. Let's see, you're awesome yogi, and we appreciate your community. Let's see, guys. You're blonde. Are you blonde? I used to be blonde. The occasional hair that grows back is still blonde. Theme says, yay, toy pups. Eric White says, hey to Mir. Deb says, you can call me anything but late for dinner. I don't even mind if you call me late for dinner. Eric White says, hey, love, get well. Foley says, great channel, great people. 100. I appreciate you being one of those great people, Paulio. Theme says, good to see you again, Toy Pups. Man, I hope you feel better to do a live stream tomorrow. It's become such a integral part of my day. Let's see. Deb says, is Tai Chi more intense of muscles than yoga? No. Depends on the style of yoga that you practice. Tai Chi can be very gentle, very flowing, as can yoga, but yoga can be extremely intense depending on the style that you practice. To practice yoga, Ashtanga, or something that I did for several years, which was Bikram yoga, is very, very intensive. I actually think that Bikram yoga could be a standalone fitness routine. I'm not a fan of Bikram himself. However, the system, especially you doing it in a 104 temperature room. It's a great question, though, Debs. Toy Pup says, I knew you would have an answer. Even video gaming world get you copyrighted. Oh, poor man says I had a boombox in my background yesterday. There it is. Nightmare says, so I started burpees today. Oop, I read that. Nightmare, good luck. You're gonna rock it, man. I hope you do a video. I hope you show people where you are now and where you end up. Toy Pup says, yep, copyrighted. Says, no music, you won't get copyrighted. There you go. I would love to work out to jazz, but one, I can't promise that I wouldn't break out in a improvisational jazz dance, showing off my ability of jazz hands. And I don't want to get the copyright. I don't want you guys to see me jazz dance, improvisational or otherwise, and I don't want to get copyrighted. Poor man says, does that mean no one can watch it? I think so. Let's see. Toy Pup says, the point, you're my new favorite comedian. Polly says, no idea. The point says, Nightmare nice. No, I won't Nightmare. I'm the first step. My cat's complaining about something. All right, let me catch up here. Toy Pup says we'll be able to watch it, but you can get a strike on your channel. I don't think it's worth it then. I know, getting monetized isn't your main goal, but you definitely don't want to accumulate any strikes. Toy Pup says, but because you have music, you got a strike. 3 strikes and you're out. Yeah, it's not worth it. Is that really true? 3 strikes? Eve, my friend, how are you? Welcome. Eve was kind enough to come over from Goga's and leave such a kind comment on my channel, and she reached out about breathing and some meditation. She, by the way, is as of today, right? She is monetized. And not only is she monetized, she is a moderator. So guys, if you can hook up, if you can watch some videos, if you can watch some ads. It's a beautiful channel. And Eve is a beautiful person. I'm really happy that she's a friend. Tanya says, if you go into YouTube Studio, then connect, then content, select live stream. If it has restrictions, you can see under the restriction column. You can then change it if you want. Gotcha. Mira says, my dream is work with the LP. On the Christmas tree farm or burpees? Or both? Pup says you can edit it and remove the part with the music. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Take the strike away. Chandra says, hey, Mir, how you doing? Nightmare says, I don't know so much yoga. He was doing them with these, from what I witnessed. He even flexed on us. I knocked at 100 in a row while drunk. I'm firmly convinced, Nightmare, that you could be just as drunk as Eric LaPointe. I'm going to stand by that statement. As a matter of fact, I think you could be even more drunk than Eric LaPointe. That's how much faith I have in you. He says hi to Eric LaPointe. Eric LaPointe is laughing with Nightmare. Mira says, Sister Chandra, thanks for the big thumbs up. Toy Pup says, Eve, we connected. Thank you, Toy Pups. Warner Boy says, I'm Eric the Yogi, and this is all about how I got YouTube famous. This might be as famous as I get on YouTube. Mir says, I'm in a live stream, Sister Tandra. Tandra says, Mir, lovely, thank you. And Eve says, thank you to Toy Pops. Poor man says, Nightmare, you can't go wrong with Iron Wolf's 12-minute drill. This is true. Great way to learn correctly. Just do 10 or so to start. You could do as little as 8 if you wanted. Or you could do Busy Dad. Busy Dad is where I started. And it's 4 20-minute sessions a day. Of course, I didn't do strictly Busy Dad style. I did the 20-minute session, and I did them every day. I love Max. He's a great guy. He says hello to Tandra. Toy Pop says, the rest of the guys be back tomorrow, I promise. Looking forward to it. I still have you up live streaming, though. I still have you up watching your live streams. Get you some watch hours. Runner Boy says, poor man, on Wednesday I'm doing 100 pull-ups. It's a lot of volume. Ginger says Yogi starts wearing Zobas and the show with a bow to your sensei. I am Dragon, and then do some Bruce Lee shit with a little bit of Austin Power judo chop. I love judo chop. That was one of the funniest things in there when he would say judo chop. Maybe more along the lines of, man, this might be too much. Inspector Clouseau. Do you guys remember Inspector Clouseau? Eric Point says, bye to love. Paula is laughing with Ginger. Poor Man says, nice runner, can't go wrong with pull-ups, man. Especially that much volume. Poor Man, he's doing singles. He's going to do 100 singles. Eve says, how are you, Tandra? Nightmare says, I am pretty good at getting drunk now that you mentioned it. See that? Build on success. That's how you do it. Poor Man says, never try to outdrink a farmer. That seems like exceptionally good advice. Eve says, thank you, Eric. I will visit your house. Hey, Sweet Acres. Welcome, my friend. Runner Boy says it takes multiple music claims to get one strike. Gotcha. Hey, Odom. Odom says, that's why I'm learning more towards TikTok. People have mentioned that to me quite a bit. All right, I'm going to skip down here towards the bottom because Polio says drunk can be funny. Been there before. Deb says, watching people work out so hard makes me tired. Wish I'd beaten my body up so bad in a car wreck and stuff. But those you can do, you rock. Hey, you're doing yoga now. That's a game changer. The important thing is to feel good within your body, or as good as you can within your body. And that's where you're heading, Debs. Toy Pup says, guys, Eric Lapointe is super funny. Eric Lapointe says, I appreciate that love. I have had many good laughs with Eric Lapointe. So we are going to end the live stream in just a minute. But I made a promise. Deb says, yes, yoga makes me feel amazing for my days. And you build on it. Each yoga class adds to the last one, and you start feeling better and better and better each time you do it. Toy Pup says, we're starting to learn how to meditate and relax. I'm glad you said that, because that leads me into where we're going now. Hey, Michael. Toy Pup says, because of Yogi, I'm happy to teach everyone how to meditate. Absolutely for free. Just reach out, and I will help you. I am a certified meditation teacher, certified breathwork coach, and I mentioned that. Nightmare says, ending live stream is always the worst part. Catch you on the next one. Thank you, Nightmare. Before I end it, though, I made a promise. Deb says, always do breathwork no matter where you are. The promise that I made was to our friend Eve, that in any live stream, we could cover some breathwork. And I had talked to Eve about, we talked about anxiety. For those who don't know, out of the blue, about 3 years ago, right towards my father's last days, stress of being a caregiver, not just a caregiver, but an end-of-life caregiver. And of losing my business, I thought I had everything managed. I thought I had all the boxes checked. I didn't. I was missing something. And out of the blue, I was struck. Panic attacks, anxiety, insomnia. Plus, to top it all off, imposter syndrome. Because here I was, a long time, decade, 30 plus year yogic practitioner, meditation teacher, practicing breathwork for a long time, and I was teaching people how to navigate out of anxiety, and I didn't recognize the symptoms in myself. I was actually diagnosed with a progressive lung disorder right during COVID, and that just added to it. And I couldn't get all the tests that we needed because they weren't scheduling them. It was pretty bad. I would find myself, I'd go to bed, I'd lay down, and it would be like a hot wire going down my spine, and I had to leap up. Couldn't catch my breath. And I got afraid to lie down again. So I would pace up and down my stairs as quietly as possible so I wouldn't wake my dad. And then if I got myself tired enough, maybe I could catch 30 minutes of sleep, not resting sleep, but like that tossing and turning before I get up to meditate so I could be a better and more effective caregiver for my father. Meditation was a blessing because it provides a deep rest, very deep rest, as well as yoga nidra, which is called yogic sleep. 1 hour of yoga nidra is the equivalent of 4 hours of actual sleep. So if you even practice for 20 minutes, it's amazing. And we'll talk about that. So I had to recognize first that I had these issues. And as I mentioned to Goga yesterday, the great realization for me was realizing no one's immune from anything. You can practice yoga forever and still suffer from anxiety, still suffer from panic attacks, still suffer from depression, which has been a constant in my life since I was a kid. However, through meditation, through breath work, you don't get rid of depression. Maybe depression leaves on its own. I don't know. It hasn't left me. However, I became aware of depression and I no longer fight it. So I don't add suffering to my depression. I don't add suffering to my anxiety. I don't add suffering to my panic attacks. They are things that happen, but I don't fight them. It was the fighting. It was panicking about the panic. I would get anxious about panic attacks before they happened. I would get anxiety about my anxiety. I would get depressed about my depression because I was thinking about them. They weren't even here, but I was thinking about them. Breath work done as a proactive. You can think of it as prehab before you need it through the course of the day is amazing. 3 times a day and therapeutically as needed. When you are about to have a panic attack, when you are experiencing anxiety, you are breathing a certain way. Notice it and then begin to change the breath easily and naturally. Don't make any drastic changes. Just notice, how am I breathing now? If I'm having an anxiety attack, I'm breathing high up in my chest. I might be breathing through my mouth. I'm exaggerating a bit. Maybe it's not that much for you. But you're breathing, just be aware of it. Now make one change. Breathe through your nose. It's hard to breathe through your nose and go. You can do it, but even if you do that, you settle down a little bit. Now slow it down. Now elongate the exhale. Just by doing this, 2 or 3 breaths, and I've immediately heightened my sympathetic nervous state, meaning I've went into that fight or flight. Just by extending my exhale, I've immediately lowered my heart rate. I'm at rest. So whatever you're experiencing, anxiety, the beginning of a panic attack, whatever it is, breathe through the nose. First, notice how you're breathing, then breathe through the nose, inhalation, exhalation, and then lengthen the exhalation. Lengthen the exhalation. Don't worry about the count. Don't worry about how long you're breathing in, how long you're breathing out. That'll come. We'll work on that later. But for now, start with that. Check in with your breathing. Check in with your breathing through the day. Because now you can, my favorite word, circumnavigate the anxiety. by calming down before you need to calm down, skirting the anxiety before you even notice anxiety. Lengthen the exhalation, breathing in, and make that ha sound, like you're fogging up the glasses, remember? Now do that with your mouth closed. Breathe in through your nose, make that ha sound. Now breathe in through your nose, make that ha sound with your mouth closed. Now reverse it. Immediately tones the vagal nerve, which puts you into that responsiveness that you can now turn away from the fight or flight to the rest and digest. Always breathe as often as possible through the nose. The nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating, or when you're heavily working out. Same with paranoia, same with anything that we suffer from. There's a breathing pattern for everything. If you are feeling paranoia, you're breathing in a certain way. Interrupt how you're breathing with a gentler approach. Elongate the exhalation. Nice and easy. Eventually, next time we talk, I don't know, Eve, if you're still here, my friend, if the next time we'll add in specific breath patterns. And you do these through the course of the day. But right now, just through the course of the day, check in with your breathing. How am I breathing? And if you notice, wow, I'm tense, I'm breathing through my mouth, I'm breathing high up in my chest and not through my belly, correct it. And now you can start moving away from the panic-inducing, the paranoia-inducing, the anxiety-inducing breathing pattern, because it changes the pattern of your thoughts, which we'll deal with next. Change how you think, and you change how your body reacts in any situation. Everything is based upon a thought. Everything is based upon a thought. Your anxiety is based upon a thought that produces anxiety. Change your thinking, change your life. How do you change your thinking? I'm glad you asked me that. You change your thinking by first being aware of what you're thinking. Check in with your thoughts. And then realize, if I'm checking in with my thoughts, it must mean that I'm not my thoughts, that I'm the awareness of my thoughts. And if I'm aware of my thoughts, I can have a different thought. I can think something different right now. Here's a one breath meditation based upon the Zen teaching of Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Vietnamese Zen master, just passed away a few years ago. Breathe through your nose. Breathing in, I relax. Breathing out, I smile. This is a wonderful moment. And then just stay in that moment. You can reverse that. You can add in a phrase that you like. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I relax. And then just smile and stay in that moment. A one breath meditation. One breath. Repeat as needed. So I apologize, I missed some of the conversation. Toy Pops, I have dyslexia as well. I probably would have been diagnosed with ADHD had they diagnosed such things back in the day. Instead, they diagnosed me as a troublemaker who couldn't pay attention in class and was probably not going to amount to a whole lot. Toy Pup says, guys, I'm a mess. You are a beautiful mess. An absolutely beautiful mess. Who doesn't want to be a beautiful mess? A beautiful mess means that you are who you are. All the stuff, everything that makes Lover Toy Pups is part of you. Embrace it. The things that you think are like your worst characteristics and traits are also blessings. It gives you empathy. It allows you to relate to people, and I watch you relate to people on your channel. No one relates better. You have a caring, compassionate, empathetic heart because of all these things that you used to think of as your issues. Those make you a wonderful teacher, makes you a beautiful person. Every single one of them. I wouldn't take one of them away from you because that would change you. Michael says, yeah, that's why I get misunderstood sometimes. Thankfully, not from here, though. Deb says, I live with bipolar, OCD person, so it's a challenge. Yoga will definitely help with that. Toy Pup says, let's add OCD as well. Rick Simpson oil is almost like legal steroids, get insane recovery. I'm going to look at that. Can you get that on Amazon? Now that I'm back in with the kettlebells, adding to the recovery mix would be awesome. Are you saying less inhale, more exhale? Not in terms of less, but if you want to, so the perfect breath is breathing in for 4, exhaling for 4. Now, here's the thing. When you breathe, just breathe however you breathe. When you want a specific result, then change your breathing. So if you want to stay even keeled through the day, give yourself 10 breaths. Breathe in for 4, there's a pause, exhale for 4 through the nose. If you need to navigate quickly through anxiety, if you're trying to go to sleep, lengthen the exhalation to 8. Breathing in for 4, exhale for 8. If you really need to navigate through anxiety or you're having a harder time getting to sleep, block off your right side, breathe in for 4, both nostrils, exhale for 8, only through your left. 10 breaths. So it goes. One of the reasons why we do that ujjayi breathing, that ha, is because it helps to control the breath. If I try to breathe in for 4 without doing it, it's like I'm sucking in air through a hose. Don't want to do that. However, especially when I try to exhale for 8 when you can't do that, I'm not going to demonstrate it because I'm not 100% sure that things won't come shooting out of my nose if I try to do it. But if I try to do it, I'm not going to make it to the count of 8. But if I do that slight constriction, that snoring sound, very gentle. I can control the breath, and it becomes such an easy, gentle, a beautiful, make your breath beautiful. So if you are anxious, lengthen the exhalation. If you need to sleep, lengthen the exhalation. And that ujjayi breath, that ha sound, is such an easy way, and you can do that anywhere, anytime. Sometimes I don't even bother doing the nighttime breath for a long period of time. I'll do 10 rounds, and then I just settle into making that gentle snoring sound. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I know that looks weird. It's okay. I've admitted it. I'm a weird guy. I've embraced my weirdness. You guys wouldn't be here if I wasn't weird. Polio says my stomach gets a knot sometimes. This will help. How you breathe will definitely help. Deb says RCO cures stage 4 cancer too. I'm going to look for this. Deb says polio, yep, I don't eat when I get stressed. Toy Pups, thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate it more than you know. Hey, and you can always reach out to me, and we can do this anytime. Anytime. Kurt Siegfried, my friend, how are you? Appreciate you being here. New York Deb says a little melatonin helps. It does. Um, this is herbatonin. Don't get me wrong. It's not the herb that you guys are thinking of. It is valerian root, and it has a little bit of ashwagandha, which I'm mispronouncing, and just a little bit of naturally occurring plant-based melatonin. And it helps tremendously. If you're having a hard time sleeping, within 15 minutes of waking up, get sunlight to the eyes, even if it's looking out the window. Get sunlight to your eyes. It makes a huge amount of difference. But it's got to be a practice. Don't do it once and then say, well, that didn't work. It's got to be an everyday practice. Deb says, I take ashwag. I get to pronounce it right because I can see it. Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha. I still mess it up. So as you can see, I literally speak dyslexia. Siegfried says hello to everyone else in here. Yeah, I was taking 10 during the worst points of anxiety and insomnia. I was taking 10. This, I believe, has like 1.5 in it, and that's just perfect enough. If you get that early morning sunlight to your eyes, your body naturally produces cortisol, norepinephrine, and adrenaline. Just the right amount to get us started in the day. Through the course of the day, those hormones die off, and they leave a waste material of which your body produces melatonin and serotonin, which are the exact hormones that we need to fall asleep and relax later in the day. So getting that sunlight puts you on course to falling in line with your natural circadian rhythm. Toy Pup says, if you have a hard time sleeping, we should wake up and look at the sun. Well, not if you're having a hard time sleeping that day. You know what? It won't help you fall asleep right after you look at the sun, but you don't even have to look directly at it. Just get sun to your eyes, sunlight to your eyes, and it'll have your body start producing the material that it needs to produce the hormones that will help you sleep at night. It kicks in the circadian rhythm, and it makes a huge difference. As well, it will inspire you. It'll invoke a sense of gratefulness, of awe, of astonishment. There's nothing like early morning sunlight. Deb says, I talk backwards like a Mac of patches instead of a pack of matches. I misplace words around quite often. I think it would. Poor man. Contact with UV blockers, I think it would. Deb says, red light calms you. I have thought about getting red light therapy, a red light lamp. They're not that expensive. Hey, Bob. Ben says, hey, Yogi, washing and doing dishes. One of my favorite things to do. Polio says, lovely people here. With the thumbs up. Thank you, Polio. Thank you for being one of the lovely people. Deb says, here, I'm good. Been doing a lot of self-care. It helps. It does help. Polio says, things. Hey, Joe, I didn't see you come in, my friend. Hey, Moon. Moon over in Miami says, hello, everyone, and Yogi. Let's see, Tinkerbolt says, hi, how are you? I'm doing good. Dip says, man, I wish I had access to a red light sauna. I wish I had access to a sauna again. Um, I belong to it's a spa. Don't laugh at me. I've, I've spent my entire life going to gyms. I belong to a spa. It was a spa lounge as well as saunas. It had a heated pool. It had a hot tub. It was a rejuvenation. It was a haven. It was actually called the Haven. It closed down during COVID. The COVID shutdown and never reopened, sadly. I would do 30 minutes a day, minimum, in the sauna. What a huge difference it made. I love the sauna. I got a home little sauna tent. I don't like it. I feel like a Pop Tart. Like I'm literally sitting in a toaster, my head popping out. Michael says, since I left that YouTube community, I mentioned I'm in a much happier place. I didn't see which one you mentioned, but that's okay. I'm glad that you're in a happier place. Hope you guys get a chance to connect with each other. Deb says, no, Judge here, laughing. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't want a poor man's gym to get the wrong impression of me when I said spa. Poor man is legendary, hardcore, and basic. He lifts rocks. He makes his own kettlebells. So I don't want to be reduced in his estimation, in his esteem of me. I don't want to have him think, wait a minute, did Yogi just say spa? As I have the utmost respect for poor man, I got to keep that. I got to keep my rep. You know what? Massages are so good for you on a regular basis. My ex-wife is a massage therapist. Your English is excellent, my friend. Deb says, Michael, people can suck the energy right out of you. They can. I do my best to create, to help create. You guys are the ones that do it. Just a positive place we can hang out. Deb says, never had a massage, just chiropractor. I've never had chiropractic treatment, but I've had a massage. Deb says he gets facials. I'm not above. I haven't gotten one, but I'm not above getting a facial at my spa. Maybe poor man is not here any longer, and he did not hear me say spa. So guys, if he comes back in, please don't mention that I used to belong to a spa. Let's call it something else. I don't know, a caveman sauna club, Neanderthal sauna club. Michael says, I don't want to get the host in trouble because I respect her. It's the people in the community I had issues with. Gotcha. Paulie was laughing with Debs. Our friend Siegfried says, I thought Paulie was laughing at the way I was spelling words, but I told him I do not spell that good because I'm more fluent in German. Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh man, this is going to spread all over the fishing world. Our friend Bob says spa. I can't unhear it. It doesn't help that I do kettlebells and burpees in my basement. Maybe that can smooth things out a little bit. Finn says, Guten Tag, Herr Siegfried. Polio is laughing. Next thing you know, I'm going to go into Stuart's chat, and Stuart's going to be like, Yogi, is it true that you belong to a spa? And thanks to New York Debs, and you get facials. Is it true? And you get pedicures. Joe says, Yogi, I was looking for the live on your channel, but I'm guessing you didn't double stream live. We didn't double stream. He asked if I wanted to, and I just thought, with my lack of, if I got to press a button, something's going to go wrong every single time. And I was afraid that if I did that during the live stream, it would mess it up for him. And I was a guest on his show. I know he did this for me. Goga, such a wonderful guy. But it was his show. I wanted it to be, even though he was asking me questions, I wanted it to be about him. So I didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize that. Polio says, here, sending love. Bob says, you're okay with me? I'm already an outcast. I appreciate keeping that under wraps. Toy Pup says, Michael, we understand. We left the community as well. You got to look after yourself, you know? Much healthier now. And Toy Pups has created a very loving community, a very loving atmosphere. So if there's anyone here not connected and you want to, let me know and we can see what we can work out. Joe says, I understand. Yeah, but it is up on Goga's page. It is up on my community page, the link for it. You know, this would not have happened had it not been for Joe Delaney. Joe Delaney has given me 2 gifts. Number 1, and most importantly, the gift of Joe Delaney, the gift of her friendship, the gift of her inspiration and her motivation, the gift of her care and her understanding and her compassion, and she has given me the gift of Goga. And I'm appreciative of all of that. And so much more. All right, so I'm more or less caught up in the chat. Joe Delaney says, I was watching the live today. I'm about halfway through so far. Nice. I hope you enjoy it. I had so much fun doing it. Joe says, you're so kind, Yogi. You're welcome. Hey, are you guys connected with Joe Delaney? Toy Pups, are you connected with Joe Delaney? And by the way, it's always Joe Delaney. Always Joe Delaney. Toy Pup says, that's how we found you, Yogi, because you posted it in your community. That's how we subscribe to Goga as well. Nice. Make use. I learned that from Goga. I've always done it. I like the community page, but I never realized how important it was until Goga did a live stream devoted just to that, using your community page to help your channel, to help other people. Promote, promote, promote. Goga had asked me my thoughts on being a content creator. If you're making content, you are a content creator. And advice. I don't really give advice. I try not to. On being a content creator and doing live streams, because he was amazed, and I didn't know I'd done this. Over 1,000 live streams in just over a year. Um, I did not realize I talked that much. How come you guys didn't tell me that? How come you didn't come here and say, man, stop it already? We've had enough. We've had it up to here. Um, and I thought about it, and I had put this as a title several times. Make it about them. As much as you're able, make it about them. If anyone comes into my live stream, I want to give them a gift. It might be a gift of shouting out their channel, talking about them, talking about what they mean to me. It might be a gift of just a warm greeting and how much I appreciate them being here. But everyone, make it about them. So, Michael, I just brought up your channel. So after the live stream, which I need to end now, by the way, I can check out your walking sticks. Toy Pup says, Joe, we have been subbed for a while, girl. Did I just say that out loud? Did I just say we've been subbed for a while, girl? I tried to get the girl part right. It didn't come out right. Your community page is super duper important, guys. Use it. Absolutely. Michael says, nice. Tanya says, bye, Yogi. Catch you next time. Thank you, Tandra. Tanya, let me know if people reach out to get some music made. We get hearts from Toy Pups. Siegfried says it was nice seeing you, Tandra. Polio says, take care. Take care, Polio, my friend. Theme Park says, see you next time, Eric. Take care. I'll be live in, man, like 2 hours. 2 hours from now, I'll be going live again. Tanya says, we'll do Yogi. Awesome. Toy Pup says, love you guys so much, and love you too. Toy Pups, reach out if you want personal breath work. And if you want to learn meditation, I'm happy to teach you. It is life-changing. Literally. Everything begins to change in your life. In the most amazing, positive ways. I always tell people, you could spend a lifetime trying to fix your flaws. What a drag. Why do you want to focus on your flaws? Think of the Japanese Zen concept of wabi-sabi, the inherent perfection in every seeming flaw, and it's actually part of your overall beauty. Don't get rid of your flaws. But here's what you do. You introduce something positive. Introduce meditation, and watch how everything changes. Watch how your perception of your flaws drops away, and your life just becomes this beautiful expression of who you truly are. If you meditate, I promise you that will happen. All right, my friends. Take care. Toy Pup says, we'll be on your next live. Thank you. Much appreciated. Toy Pup says, thank you so much. And if you are the next live, let's start out. We'll teach meditation right from the beginning of the live stream. Or Siegfried says, good stream, my friend. Take care. You too, Siegfried. Thank you. I always appreciate you coming here. Thanks, guys. Take care. Deb says, thanks, everyone. Thank you, Debs. And thank you for your suggestions as well. I'm definitely going to think about that red light therapy. Thanks, guys.